Hello everyone, I'm Katie, I'm the Introverted Reader, and yes, I'm not sitting on my bed this time. I didn't like the angle from last time. I felt like I had to bend over a lot. I just feel like I'm a bit better situated here at my desk, and as you can see from the title of this video, this is going to be my May wrap-up. I ended up reading 7 books in the month of May, and I'm really proud of myself. The first one I want to talk about is our book club pick of the month for the month of May, for the Introverted Reader book club, and that is Furyborn by Legrand. This is a high fantasy story about 2 different queens set in 2 different timelines. These 2 queens are prophesied to either destroy the world or to save it. One of blood and one of light. And it's basically, I'm trying to think of a better way to frame it, but the 2 of them are meant to have all these like powers of the 7. So like basically there's all these different elements and all these different powers, and usually only like one element per person is usually how it works, and they train and, you know, perfect their powers within that element. But these 2 queens are destined to have all 7, which is very rare. That's really all I feel like I could say about this. It is quite a complicated story. I'll not get too deep into it, but to be honest, that was all I knew about it, and I ended up reading it and I absolutely loved it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I would definitely recommend this, and the sequel is coming out soon, which is really exciting. Now, the next book that I read was on my Kindle, and it was The Hazel by Melissa Albert. I meant to read that last year, and basically what it's about this girl who is, you know, lives with her mom, and her and her mom are constantly moving cities, or constantly moving everywhere, you know, just for reasons other than bad luck follows them around. And this girl, her name is Alice, and her mother doesn't talk about her grandmother very much, because her grandmother is this very reclusive person who wrote this book on fairy tales. And then they find out that the grandmother has since passed away, but then they find out that the characters within her stories have, you know, escaped from their world and they're entering our world, like the human world, and that's what's causing their bad luck and blah blah. I'll be honest, I didn't overly enjoy The Hazelwood. I did find it very boring, and to be honest, the ending of it was really disappointing for me. I didn't really like the main character. It was just, I just didn't overly enjoy it. She wasn't a very likable character, and the story was meh. I just didn't enjoy it. I ended up giving it 3 or 2.5 stars, I think, on Goodreads. Not very good, not a very enjoyable time. But then I was stuck as to what to read, and then I randomly picked up this next book on a whim. I just grabbed it off my shelf and was like, I'm gonna read this one. And I absolutely adored this book, you guys. Oh my goodness. I found a new favourite, and that is Shadowscent, The Darkest Bloom by P.M. Freestone. You might have seen me haul this quite recently, and oh my god, this book is fantastic. It's so good. Right, okay, so I'll just read you the back of it, because I feel like that's easier for me to do than actually explain it in my own words. But in the empire of Aramtesh, scent has power. When disaster strikes and the crown prince lies poisoned, long-suppressed rivalries threaten to blow the empire apart. It's up to Raquel, a poor village girl with a talent for fragrances, and Ash, the prince's loyal bodyguard, to find an antidote. To succeed, the unlikely pair must uncover cryptic ancient secrets as well as buried truths from their own past in an adventure that will ignite your senses. Oh my goodness. Right, so you got that from the synopsis. The prince gets poisoned, and these 2 basically have to team up, and basically they literally, like, it's like going on like a scavenger hunt or like a treasure hunt or something. They literally have to go to all these places and find all these like different ingredients to get the antidote together. And Raquel, oh my goodness, Raquel as a character, she is so amazing. This honestly gave me like Ember in the Ashes vibes, because she reminded me so much of Laia from Ember in the Ashes, who I adore as a character. Ash is amazing. He is my precious son. I love him so much. And the prince who gets poisoned, he's called Nasai. Oh my goodness, he's such a gem. I love him so much. Like, I love all the characters in this so much. The story is amazing. It's so fast-paced and just wonderful. And the cover is absolutely gorgeous. Like, look how it's just shining away right now. Like, it's beautiful. Like, the blue in there, yes. But yeah, I absolutely adore this. 5 out of 5. And the sequel is coming out next year, and I need it now. I need it now, like, so bad. Another book that I read, well, I actually listened to this one, Good Morning, Good Night by Manuel Miranda. I listened to that on audio on my phone. I can't really show you my phone right now because I'm filming on it. But yes, I listened to that, and it's basically just a collection of, like, if you follow Manuel on Twitter, then you'll know he tweets these little inspirational, like, haikus, almost like, good morning, you know, like, your day's just begun, like, you're only getting, it's like, I can't really name one off the top of my head, but if you follow him on Twitter, then you understand. And he narrates it himself, and it's really, really good. And honestly, it's just like, you can listen to it and get the little, like, boost of morale. You know what I mean? You know, he's just like, you've got this, you know, like, you like, get up, get your shoes on, conquer the world. Like, it's just, he's just so wonderful, and I love him. And I think I gave Good Morning, Good Night 5 out of 5 as well, because I just adore Lin-Manuel Miranda so much. Another book that I read this year that is another favorite, or sorry, this month, that I read this month that I just, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, I just need to talk about this, okay? The Hand, the Eye, and the Heart by Zoe Marriott. Oh my god. Okay, so I'll read you the synopsis. I'm not sure how to pronounce the character's name. I'm going to say Zealand, or Zylan, maybe. Zylan was assigned female at birth. Despite a gift for illusions, they are destined to live out their life within the confines of the women's quarter. But when civil war sets the empire aflame, Zylan is determined to save their disabled father from the battlefield by taking his place. Surviving brutal army training as a boy, Z, is only the first challenge. In the glittering court of the Land of Dragons, love and betrayal are two sides of the same smile. And soon the fate of a nation rests on Z's shoulders, but to win they must decide where their heart truly belongs. So yes, I use they and their and them. Our main character is non-binary transgender. I'm so happy. They are amazing. I love them so much. So yes, basically it's kind of like a Mulan retelling. Basically they are obviously the eldest child of this this former veteran soldier, and obviously because he is crippled he cannot fight again, so they take their father's place, and you know, they get to the camp and everything. And oh my goodness, this is so good. So obviously they take their place in the father's army, and along the way they are discovering themselves and who they are as a person, and it's just it's wonderful. Although I will just read this little thing at the front here. The author has left a little content warning right here. The author would like readers to be aware that this book contains depictions of dead naming and misgendering. So basically, Z obviously identifies as non-binary, and they get called she and her and a woman all the time, and it's just ugh. Please use your own best judgment as to whether you will find this content triggering. The book also contains depictions of chest binding, which, while inspired by real practices within certain periods of Chinese history, are entirely unsafe and should not be adopted by any reader under any circumstances. So those are the trigger warnings. Take with them. Take them what you will. Use your own best judgment when reading this. If you're triggered by any of those things, maybe this book is not for you. But I adored this story. I adored Z so much as a character. They just, it's like they start off thinking, oh, I'm female, I'm meant to be a woman, I'm meant to do this. But then they join the army, and it takes joining the army for them to fully come to terms with who they are. And then they realize, you know what? I have both masculine and feminine qualities about me, and I shouldn't be ashamed to, you know, just be myself. Like, I'm not one or the other, you know, like I'm just me, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I just adored this. And if anything I've said while talking about this book intrigues you, I would definitely pick it up. But obviously be very wary of the trigger warnings as well. So there's that. And the next book I want to talk about is another favourite of the year. Like, 5 out of 5. I think I gave this one. Either 5 or 4. I can't remember. I think I might have given it 4. But yes, amazing. Oh yes, and the next book I want to talk about is On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Oh my goodness, this book was incredible. Literally, I'm so happy that the last lot of books I've been talking about in this wrap up, I've been like raving about, but like I knew I was gonna love this. I actually listened to this on audio, and I really recommend that you do listen to this on audio, because our main character Bree aspires to be a rapper, and the narrator that is telling you the story does a bit of rapping, and it's really, really good. So basically the story is 16-year-old Bree wants to be one of the greatest rappers of all time. It's hard to get your come up though when you're labelled trouble at school and your fridge at home is empty after your mum loses her job. But Bree's success is all that stands between her family and homelessness, so she doesn't just want to make it, she has to, even if it means becoming exactly what the public expects her to be. So yep, she's just trying to like make it in the world as a rapper because that's what her father did. And I will put a content warning out there for obviously racism, because there is just blatant racism towards Bree and her family in this. As well, there is a scene where Bree is handcuffed and forced to the ground quite roughly, so there's a little bit of violence in there, so I would be very wary of that. It made me so angry. It's just, you're reading it and you're like, she didn't even do anything wrong. Like, just, oh my goodness, it angered me so much. But like, Bree is such an amazing character, and I will, obviously, I've given you a trigger warning for the violence, but there's also like, I will give a trigger warnings like for like drugs and just police brutality just in general, because, obviously the neighborhood that she lives in is really rough and not very safe at a lot of times. So be very wary of those things when you read this, but this is an important book to read because it highlights the Black Lives Matter movement, and it's just amazing and wonderful, and you need to read this now. The last book that I read was on my Kindle, and that was Darken by Kiersten White. This is actually a reread for me. I'd wanted to reread that trilogy for a while. I had them in physical form, but I needed to make room on my shelf, so I got rid of them. So I just got the Darken trilogy. I can't remember, I think it's like the Conquerors trilogy or something. I actually only finished Darken today, and it was good. It was good. Can't really say that much about it. It's basically an historical fiction retelling of Vlad the Impaler, except instead of Vlad being a man, it's a woman. So just sort of story, about the Ottoman Empire, and just Lada trying to find her way in the world, and just like stuff like that. I don't really have that much to say about it. It was okay. If you want a full review on any of these books, leave a comment down there and let me know. But all in all, Darken I gave 4 stars. I'm reading the second one right now. I haven't even started it, but that is my wrap up. I read 7 books this month. Here they are, and my Kindle is sitting on top, but look, I'm really happy with the books that I read this month. A lot of them are like favorites for life now. Apart from the Hazelwood, obviously. Let me know what books you read this month, what ones were your favorites. I'll list all the books I read this month down below. Please follow me on Twitter, please follow me on Instagram, and like, comment and subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you for watching. Bye.